Hi, I'm Walker&Williams, and today I've got an emergency news flash HBAR update for you. Normally I do the Hedera Hashgraph HBAR updates sort of sporadically as and when the news builds up, and then I do a whole feature-length film. With this one, I've got two really big pieces of news that I just couldn't wait to share with you guys. So I've created this one-off shorter video just to give you a quick update, keep you on the pulse. Okay, so let's jump straight into it. Oh, by the way, if you're not doing so already, I keep asking you, please help me help you by growing the audience that we have here on YouTube, the fantastic community that we have on YouTube. If you subscribe to me, the more subscribers I have, the bigger the influence I have. The bigger the influence I have, the more things I get invited to debate with Bitcoin maxis, to discuss the inner workings of different projects. You know, just now we've done a fantastic interview with Dr. Carsten Sorensen, which I hope you've seen about Hedera Hashgraph, and I get invited to stuff like this, and I will get invited to more stuff like that if you like watching it, and if you want to see me debating with people about the different crypto platforms and basically spreading the good word of Hedera Hashgraph, then please give me a like and a subscribe for you just as much as for me. Okay, with that said, let's jump straight into it. So there is an interview on the Hedera website between Zenobia Godshalk, who is the SVP of Communications for Swirld Lads, of course, and Max Winagrad, great name, who is the VP, the Vice President of Connected Products by Avery Dennison, and they call it Smart Track. So of course, Avery Dennison, one of the GC Governing Council members at Hedera Hashgraph, and so this chap works there or through one of their subsidiary companies. It's only 14 minutes long, but if you're ever feeling down about HBAR's price, then watch it. So I'm going to put a link to that video in the description below. As I say, go and watch it. It's really, really interesting after this video, of course. It's only 14 minutes long, and it's well worth a watch. Zenobia and Max are both very serious people. This is not, you know, speculation. You're hearing it from the horse's mouth. One person who works at the project that provides sort of the platform, and another person who works at the use case, the end user, and they're having a conversation. Really, really interesting. By the way, before I talk about this one, I'm going to read everything on the board word for word as I always do, but this is a new pen color I've never tried before, purple, so I hope you can see that on the screen. But don't worry if you can't see it, because I'm going to read it word for word as I say. Okay, so Avery Dennison, who are a Hedera Hashgraph Governing Council member, as I said, they have founded a company called Atmaio, I think atma.io, really good website, really clear, really easy to navigate, atma.io. And these guys, the purpose of this business is to track products from source to shelf, okay? From the raw materials to the trainers on your feet. Customers, for the first time, can see the carbon footprint of products, where they and their parts are from, the sustainability for quality assurance, etc. So what a fantastic thing. So you have a pair of trainers on your feet, and you know, where are the laces cotton, and if so, where is that cotton from, where was it grown, which country, how did it get from there to here, you know, was it by electric vehicle, lorry or whatever, or was it by a dirty diesel or whatever, the place where the cotton was grown, was it sustainable, are the people treated well, are they on minimum wage, are they being taken advantage of, and so on and so forth. So really, really interesting the way it kind of takes all the different materials in just a pair of shoes. I mean, you can imagine like something like a car or something, but just in a pair of trainers, you know, the rubber soles, the glue that sticks everything together, the dye that dyes the colors and all that sort of stuff. Where do all those multiple parts come from? Well, that's what these guys have set up. That's their mission. They're going to be tracking this stuff so you can check once and for all exactly where everything comes, and because it's on Hedera Hashgraph, it cannot obviously be manipulated, and because it's on Hedera Hashgraph, or it's very difficult, I should say, it's very difficult to be manipulated. Anything can be manipulated, but on Hedera Hashgraph it makes it very difficult. That's not to say that if people tell a lie in the very first instance, that lie will obviously be a lie gossiped about. So it's not the platform's fault that the initial information was incorrect. So there has to be an element of trust, but they're overcoming that too, and that's probably another full-length video that I need to create. Okay, so 300 new items added to Atma every second. So I even put a ... for dramatic pause. Every second. 300 new items are added to their inventory every second. That's amazing. They currently have 22 billion physical items connected to the program. 6 out of the 20 top apparel means clothing, of course, apparel brands in the world use Atmaio, and 4 out of 10 of the world's largest restaurant chains are too. Wow. 22 billion items currently connected. Not, we're going to do that by year 1, not, that's our goal, not in 10 years' time. Today, right now, as you're watching this video, Atma are building on Hedera Hashgraph, and they have 22,000 million physical items connected to their platform. Going live on the mainnet of Hedera very soon. Could be weeks. Max actually says in the interview, by the way, could be weeks, according to Max. So he actually says that himself. You can go watch the video himself. 22 billion, and he actually says as well, 22 billion items with 10 to 20 data touch points, creating a transaction on Hedera. So let me explain what that means. So you've got 22 billion items on their network. So there's 22 billion pairs of trainers, for example. Each one of those pairs of trainers creates 10 to 20 data points. So this pair of trainers is being loaded into a crate, data point 1. The crate that contains that trainer is being loaded into the shipping container, data point 2. The shipping container has been locked and sealed and everything is inside, data point 3. The shipping container has been loaded onto a ship, data point 4. The ship is in Africa, 6. It's just crossed the water from the Pacific to the Atlantic, 7. It's just transported from this ship to that ship where it crosses, somewhere else, 9. Through France, delivered to Britain, on the transport lorry, off the transport lorry, in storage, distribution, into a warehouse, been bought on eBay, been sent to the person on eBay, now in your hands. So what Max is saying is that each item of these 22 billion items has 10 to 20, and I think he's being a little bit cautious there, but 10 to 20 items, data interactions on their journey, and each one of those is a transaction on the Hedera network. Well, what's 22 billion times 10 to 20? That's 220 to 440 billion transactions on Hedera Hashgraph. Going live could be a couple of weeks. Wow. Wow. Okay, to put this in perspective, Hedera Hashgraph is light years ahead of all of the other crypto projects, all of them, all of the 16 to 20,000 crypto projects in existence are light years behind Hedera Hashgraph in terms of numbers of transactions. I think Hedera has done more transactions now than all of the other projects put together, to put that in context for you. And that number is 2 billion. So Hedera has just gone over 2 billion transactions total since inception, since the first transaction was created. These guys are talking about doing 220 to 440 billion transactions. Wow. I mean, this is just going to change the game. Absolutely. And then this is a two-parter. This is a 2-for-1, as the Americans say. So the second half of this news flash is that native staking is going live. Now this is a massive one, and I am going to be doing a full-length feature video on this, but I wanted to make this one quite quickly, get it out to you so you guys can be as excited as I am, and you can probably tell that from me creating this video, how excited I am about these two pieces of news. So natives, and by the way, just before we leave this one, Hedera, you might be a massive fan of Hedera, know everything about Hedera, and blah, 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 and won't know this, because Hedera aren't big on, like, HBAR Foundation's another thing, but Hedera are like, let's just build something incredible, build it and they will come kind of thing. Like, this is massive news. If this was, well, it couldn't be done on Bitcoin, Ethereum and so on, but if it was being done on those kind of platforms, then, oh my, we wouldn't be able to shut the internet up about it. But yeah, on Hedera, it's like, big deal. And that's just a sign of things to come. It doesn't mean they're stupid or naive. It means they know, but this is just a sign of things to come, which is what I've been saying since day one, by the way. Okay, anyway, so native staking is going live. This is massive and warrants many videos, but yeah, so I'll be making a video on this, a full-length video on staking, how it works, what it's all about, why I think you should get involved. Okay, it's a 4-step process. So step 1, we are going live right now. As of the as of July 21st, although you can stake your HBAR to a GC member node, your HBAR doesn't affect the vote or get rewards yet. So you can go on the website, you can have a look and you can see Google, LG, and it's really nice to see their names in something interacting. It's quite cool to see them all there because we're so used to seeing them, the GC members, you know, sort of on that image that we've all seen where it's like a purple background with all the names, and we've seen it in the circle, and that's pretty cool. And the circle's kind of 3/4 filled up and there's still names waiting. But to see them in a different format and actually in something that you can interact with and pick one, that's pretty cool. So you can attach your HBARs, you keep your HBAR, it's very important to say that, you keep your HBAR, but you can kind of sort of lend them, they give their voting power, give their weight, if you like, to one of the GC members. And although you can, it's like a practice run and we can kind of test the network, on the main net, the real live network, your HBARs don't count towards the vote and you don't get any rewards. So it's kind of like a half live test, if you like. And that's happening right now, that's live. You can do that today, right now at the end of this video, and I'll put a link to the Hedera website in the description below that tells you all about it. Step 2, certain exchanges and third-party wallets will be allowed to facilitate staking. So at the moment, you know, you can't do it through a third party like Binance or Ledger or whatever your favorite sort of exchange or crypto wallet is, but you will be able to once step 2 goes live. To facilitate staking. Still no rewards, sad face, that's Max's sad face. He's got the same hair as me actually, the smelly face. For staking right now. Still no rewards for staking right now. However, the staked HBAR will start to affect the vote. So how many HBAR a node has gives that node certain level of vote or importance, if you like. So you've got 20 nodes and this one's got 10,000 HBAR and that one's got 20,000 HBAR. That one has got sort of double the vote of importance that this one does because it's got double the HBAR. There are caps and limits on that to protect obviously the network, and no one person can have all the vote and so on. But I'm trying not to get bogged down in this video. This is just it's a news flash. Step 3, once enough people are staking and enough HBAR is being staked, rewards will begin. And that's obviously the up arrow of the stock market. The threshold value is 250 million HBAR. The account, 0.800, will automatically begin paying rewards. So if you want to have a look at this wallet, you can do that on Dragonglass or hash.hash. If you have a look in my other videos, if you subscribe and you've been with me for a long time, you'll know I've already created this video and you'll know how to do this. If you haven't, go back. I'll put a link in the description below to my old video that shows you the website, how to go on there, and I screen share with you and show you how it's super easy to do. You put this address into the 0.800, you put that into the system, and you can actually see the HBARs in the account. Once all the rewards that would have been earned by all the people staking their HBAR hits 250 million HBAR. So let's say, for example, just to make the numbers easy, the return on the HBAR is 5%. Once you get to 500 million HBARs being staked, you hit the 250 million HBAR reward. Once you hit that, this account automatically starts paying those rewards to people. Not retrospectively, by the way, just moving forward. Will automatically be paying rewards. Step 4, 24-hour updates. At the moment, you only get the updates, I think it's once a month, but you'll be able to basically see for visibility, node uptime, rewards paid, etc. If you remember the review I did of DAG, their website's really cool because you can actually see the nodes all over. They've got the world map and you can interact and you can actually see the nodes all over the world. You can actually see where they are and you can see how many kind of coins they've got staked to them and how long they've been up for, if they've been constantly live or if they've gone down for maintenance or if there's been a problem. And you can see that, and they're going to do the same thing, and they're going to allow for 24-hour updates. So you'll be able to see visibly the rewards being paid, who's got what, total transparency, which is fantastic. But the right level of transparency, because you won't be able to see, oh, Max has got this many coins on that node. You'll just know there are that many coins on that node, but you won't know whose they are. Unless, of course, you tell people. So just some quick fire round bullet points here at the very end of this video. I'm trying to keep it short, but I'm not very good at doing that because I like talking too much. You keep your coins to stake. You just effectively put them to work. You lock up, so this is really important. The lockup period is only 24 hours with no penalty. What that means is if you lock your coins in to stake, if you stake your coins, you only have to give 24 hours notice to get them back. Now, on some networks, that's 6 months, it could be years, it can be, and the reason that's important is because let's say it's all very well and good making 5% a year on your coins, but if Hedera starts HBAR, if you need the money desperately for something, to buy an opportunity, to invest, to sell, to pay your mortgage, whatever it may be, it's no good if you can't get to them quickly. And it's also no good if there's a massive penalty, because some places say you lock up for a year, if you withdraw before that year, depending on a sliding scale, if you break the contract on the first month, the penalties are massive. On the last month, 12th month, not so bad, but still bad. With Hedera, though, of course, there are no fees for breaking, for calling the money in, and you only have to give 24 hours notice. The other reason that's important is because it's no good earning 5% a minute, a day, a year, whatever it may be, and then only for the price to fall off a cliff, and all that sort of additional value that you created in the extra tokens that you earn in staking is lost through the depreciation of the price. With Hedera, you could call it in and sell them and lock that price out. So again, I'm going to do a much longer video on this, so don't worry. I'm just letting you know that the lockup period is 24 hours with no penalty, which is fantastic. Really, really fair. Ledger are working with Hedera right now to allow staking, and that's really cool because a lot of people like Ledger. They seem to be super safe, and so except for the security breach they had where everyone's emails were released on the internet a couple of years ago, the actual Ledger, the crypto itself, they've never had a single breach, not even a murmur of one. So that's good, and you'll be able to stake, so it's completely safe. So your coins will be off, will be in cold storage, on a hard wallet, and you'll still be able to stake them, which is fantastic. This is the important bit. The annual return is capped at 6.5% max. So that's not a note to myself, that means maximum, of course. So 6.5% per year is what you'll be able to earn on your HBARs. Now, I think that's fantastic. Some people will say, well, it's not great. Inflation is at 9% in the UK at the moment, which is true. And, there are accounts that pay a lot more, also true. I mean, I was sent one the other day on Twitter at Walker&Williams, and the guy was like, what do you think of this project? I looked at it and said, we pay an annual reward for staking, an annual yield of 4,000%. Scam, straight away, scam. Nonsense, unsustainable. If it's not a scam, it's completely unsustainable. It won't last, because who the heck can pay for 4,000% interest legitimately? The answer is nobody. Some rules have no exception, that's one of them. So it gives me some comfort that it's 6.5% for a couple of reasons. Number one, we're storing the HBAR anyway. So anything over zero is a bonus. Because if you have no intention of selling your HBAR until they get to X price, or until you get to this position in your life, or you get to that age, then anything between now and then that you're paid for just holding them has got to be a bonus. The other thing is that 6.5% with Hedera is more like 20% with some other projects. For it to be a very fair calculation, you have to not just look at the risk, you also have to look at the reward. What's the chances of actually getting paid? Because it's all very well and good me saying to you, you can buy a house in Xville and it'll only cost you, Liverpool. You can buy a house in Liverpool, in certain parts of Liverpool, for £1 and the rent is 600. You go, wow, I cannot lose, that's fantastic. But the chance of you getting that rent is nil. Okay, well then there's no point me buying it. Doesn't matter if the house is £1 or 50p. What's the point me buying the house if no one else will buy it after me and I can't sell it and I can't collect any rent? Well, there isn't any point. So you can't just look at risk. Reward, you have to look at risk too. And with Hedera, the risk is practically nil. I'll get to that. I think that's my next point, in fact. So 6.5% with Hedera is pretty good when you consider the risk. And I also think that, as I say, if you're holding the HBARs anyway, 1%, 2%, 6.5% is fantastic. There is no risk. Should I say no more risk? Okay, so nothing in life is risk-free. Doing nothing is risky. Doing something is risky. There is nothing that is risk-free. So what do I mean by it's no more risk? Well, the risk with staking your HBAR is that the project breaks. It gets hacked, or Lehman comes out tomorrow and says, look, I can't handle it anymore, the whole thing's a scam and this is why, or something better is invented, or quantum computing does something to Hedera that nobody spotted, not even Lehman allowed for. But whether you're staking them or not, if the HBAR value of the coins goes to zero because of something that happened externally, then they would have gone to zero anyway. So it's no more risk than there already is with Hedera. So if you believe the risk of holding HBAR, holding your hard-earned money in HBARs, whatever that risk you believe there is, it's exactly the same with staking, because you're staking with Hedera. So there is no more risk than holding HBAR. So to say there is no risk staking HBAR is not technically true, because there is risk with HBAR. But there is no more risk. Genuinely, I think the price we're currently at, the price is crazy at the moment. What an opportunity. I personally believe. So the price at the moment as of filming is 0.05 pence, or just rounded up to 6 pence, or 71 cent dollars, USD. I honestly think sometimes, I don't think 50 billion coins are enough. When I hear news like this, and by the way, this is, oh yeah, let's get something else straight as well, just real quick. So 22 billion, 10 to 20 transactions, 220 to 440 billion, and I think that's being conservative. What about when these guys, this company, do you think these guys are going to just stop there? Do you think they're just going to sit back? You know, they're a GC member, they've got the money behind them, they've got the backing, they've got the intelligence, they've got the people, they've got the team, they've got the head start, they've got the knowledge. They've got everything they need to take that company as big as they possibly can and make it a real monster. And right now, they're at 220 to 440 billion transactions on Hedera. Forget for a second all the other companies that are going to be building on Hedera and are building on Hedera and about to, including the other governing council members. Just these guys. If these guys are the only people transacting on Hedera, and they 10x their business in the next couple of years, they grow to 10 times, and they own more. And by the way, when you have these customers, it's easier to get other customers, as we're finding with Utopian Lab. That takes the 220 billion to 2.2 to 4.4 trillion transactions. Trillion transactions, and that's just with this one use case. Now, welcome on Walmart. Welcome on the drone company. What's the drone company called? Neuron. Neuron Drones, the biggest drone aviation company in the UK, and they are going to be trialing on Hedera Hashgraph, and then they're going to be going live on Hedera Hashgraph. When you've got a drone that's delivering a package for Amazon, and it's constantly got data points, so it's not a pair of shoes in a box on a container. It's a drone that's flying and it's going, that building's got 3 stories taller. That's a new building completely. That building's gone. I'm this far off the floor. I'm that far away from my destination. My battery life is that. And it's reporting it all back to a central server in real time. Imagine how many transactions one drone creates on the network with little bytes of information. I'm scanning the floor for Google Maps. I'm checking the weather temperature. I'm the altitude, the magnetic force. There's more birds than usual. I'm tracking the stars. I'm tracking the moon. I'm tracking the sun. I'm tracking all this stuff, all this information, all this data in one drone. It's got to be thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not millions of transactions per flight. Now, how many times a day is that drone flying? Now, how many drones are flying across the UK? That's just one other customer. Then you've got Walmart, and you've got Asda, and you've got Google, and IBM, and just these guys on their own, I think will very quickly be to 1 trillion transactions, and we go live in a few weeks, which is why I genuinely question sometimes, is 50 billion HBAR enough? Okay, and then we just come over here and we say opportunity. Another really important point when you put this into context is that I believe personally that Hedera Hashgraph their product is as good and holds its own in its own industry, in its own environment. Hedera Hashgraph holds its own to Apple. So Apple is for phones, Tesla is for cars, Hedera Hashgraph is for cryptographic technology, and so on and so forth. So, Facebook is for connection, Google is for searches, and so on. So I truly believe that Hedera Hashgraph is one of those sort of big 4 companies and holds its own. What do you think so bearing in mind that these guys are willing to pay us 6.5% yield on our stocks, if you like, or Hedera Hashgraph's versions of stocks, they're willing to pay us 6.5%. How much do you think Apple pays their shareholders? So if you own Apple stock, how much a year do you think you get back for Apple stock? Now I understand that Apple's further down the line than Hedera, and Hedera could change the yield, and I get that, but for right now, I think if you like Hedera Hashgraph and you understand about Hedera Hashgraph, you can understand at least, you may agree with me completely, you may think I'm underselling it, I don't know. But if you believe that Hedera Hashgraph is similar in quality and brand and tech to Apple, Tesla, and so on, what do you think Apple stock pays their stockholders? 0.6%. So that's just over half of 1% a year. How much do you reckon Tesla pay their stockholders? 0. Nothing. They don't pay. So you buy Tesla stock and the only thing you have is capital appreciation. You're buying a house as an investment and getting no rent whatsoever for 10 years and then hoping that when you go to sell it that the house is worth more than you bought it for and also more than inflation. Because if inflation's at 10% and you don't sell your Tesla stock for 10 years, it has to have doubled in value just to break even. Think about that. If you buy Tesla stock today and it pays you nothing and you hold it for 10 years and inflation on average is at 10%, the Tesla that you bought today for 1,000 has to be 2,000 in 10 years time, or anything less than that and you've lost money. At 2,000 you break even. And that's not including the opportunity cost of what you could have done with the money elsewhere. Like for example, if you'd bought Hedera Hashgraph, you've got to factor in the fact that this would have earned you 6.5%. So it's got to have doubled even if you don't factor in loss of opportunity cost. How much do you reckon Google pay? 0. Facebook, 0. These are people, you give them your money, you invest, you lend them money, and they pay no interest. 0, it's never been heard of before. What a fantastic business where you can go, imagine being Facebook. You can sell shares to people who'll give you £100 million. You pay them nothing. They could then go and buy HBAR, stake it, and earn 6.5% on your money and pay you nothing. What a business model. I wish I could get free money like that. Wow. I hope this has been educational for you and interesting. I hope you're as excited as I am watching this. This is serious. I've been saying for so long, like a broken record, utility, 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 utility. And now finally, how do you compare this to the likes of Bitcoin, for example, or Ethereum, or Solana, or any of those other projects? Some of them have perfectly good use cases, by the way. But this is just next level. As always, thank you so much for watching. It really does mean it. No, Jack, don't bother. No, no. Oh, that boy does love a smoke grenade. Okay, we found green. Jack.